Labor MPs, once known as the Otis Group, have met at the Wild Duck restaurant in Canberra, which is being seen as another sign of discontent about the Labor Party and its direction at the moment. The former Labor leader Bill Shorten, the former frontbencher Joel Fitzgibbon, and the factional powerbroker Don Farrell among more than a dozen MPs in attendance. The group, originally named after the Otis Dining Hall, was revealed last year, discussing ways the party could deviate from its policy direction on climate change and other matters under Anthony Albanese. The Australian reported today that more MPs, including Anne Ali, had planned to attend the dinner last night had they not been forced to return to WA. One Otis member told the Australian, "We are concerned about the direction the party is taking under Anthony's leadership." Liberal MP Tim Wilson enjoyed commenting on this. He told Sky News it's clear the opposition leader's job is in danger.
Well, I think I've been to it once and I looked at the menu, and of course there are lots of different options. There was crispy dead duck elbow and of course dead duck elbow with mushrooms. I don't know how they served it or how they want to serve it. They may have gone straight for the chop of the head, or they may be going for, the slow unplucking. But whatever it is, it's clear that there's an organised campaign to remove Anthony Albanese as opposition leader because he is now a dead duck, and he was clearly on the menu last night.
Former Labor Minister and my Sky News colleague Graham Richardson joins me now. He's served in cabinets. He's been around Parliament House many times. Richo, are they all getting a bit worked up about a Chinese feed?
I think they are. I can't imagine Albo not leading us at the next election. He will. You'll always get talk like this whenever MPs gather. But having dinner and having a coup are entirely different things. There's a little more to the second part than there is to the first.
Yeah, well, exactly. And I was told that there were 20 MPs with Anthony Albanese himself at the, I think it was the Kingston Hotel. So that dinner's, as you know, happening all over the place. But in terms of regrouping, what about this reshuffle? Is it going to work?
Well, I mean, that's a suck it and see proposition. And we'll wait and see what the verdict is. But I think he's done some courageous things. I think moving Mark Butler was smart, and that wouldn't have been easy for him because the two of them are great mates. And I think whenever you take courageous decisions, then you get told by the bureaucracy that that's very dangerous. But danger sometimes is necessary. You've got to take risks if you want to win. I think overall, I'd give it a pretty big tick.
And Richo, the government has made some further progress today with this Pfizer vaccine, another 10 million doses. Australia remains in one of the best positions of any country in the world, and in health terms, that's wonderful. In terms of our lifestyle and so on, that's great. In political terms, it's also a huge win for Scott Morrison and his team right now. Yes,
it is. I mean, Albo has some bad luck sometimes, and this is part of it. There's no doubt that while Scott Morrison is not personally single-handedly holding back the bug, it sort of looks that way, and he's doing very, very well out of it. There's one thing, all he does is manage what's in front of him, Morrison, but he does it well, he does it convincingly, and it doesn't matter if there's no long-term plan. Most Australians aren't looking for one anyway.
He spoke to President Biden today. Probably took a few days longer than they would have otherwise liked. But I think for the Prime Minister, you could see, we got some photographs of him speaking to President Biden. He's smiling and he's, I think he's going to find this easier to navigate, this relationship, than with the predecessor, former President Trump.
Well, Biden is going to be, thankfully, predictable. He's not going to veer from the normal path. He's not going to do strange things. He's not going to say outrageous things. And I think the whole world will be relieved about that, but in particular Scott Morrison, because managing somebody like Trump with a relationship with someone who's so erratic is very, very difficult. He'll welcome the fact that he's now got a rather sane, staid person at the other end of the line in Washington.
He seemed to hint as well that there's going to be a more nuanced response from Biden when it comes to China and that sort of thing. Do you think that might have a flow-on benefit to Australia, or will we remain in the cooler for a bit longer?
Well, I think it will help us if relations between the US and China improve. There'll undoubtedly be some improvement left for us. So I think it's a really good thing. And, you know, he's not a warmonger and he's not going to be a big talker like Trump. I mean, I think Trump talked a great game. I don't think he ever played one. This bloke's not going to be boastful. He's going to take it quietly, but he'll take it.
If you needed to be reminded of how pragmatic Morrison is, the Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, you've seen the last couple of weeks with the climate shift in the language. He's moving towards net zero by 2050. He can see where everything's moving internationally. He doesn't want to be left as the odd one out, and he's certainly, you know, gradually moving in that direction, Richo. He's not an ideologue in this sense, in this issue or many others. He's a pragmatist, isn't he?
Yeah, he's never been an ideologue, and it's his pragmatism that makes him so hard to beat. And so when he sees the need for change, he changes. If he doesn't see the need, he sticks with his original position, and he reads it so well. There's no doubt about it, he is a formidable politician, and I think Labor ought to have realised that by now.
What would be the bit of advice you'd give to Anthony Albanese as he tries to generate some momentum? He's done his team. You know, he's facing this politician who is at, you know, if he's not at the top of his game, he's close to it. What do you say to Albanese now?
Well, I don't think you say anything. Look, there's this great temptation to say to people, you've got to make noise all the time. Just remember, Australians don't like talking about politics, and they only want to talk about it if they really have to. Now, we're a long way out for an election. They don't have to. I don't think they want to be engaged at the moment. So what you do if you're Anthony is you do what he's done. You go to Queensland where Labor's weak. You meet as many people as you can. You show them your human face. You show them that you're not some ideologue who'll do them harm. And you just work away quietly. That's what he's got to do. He's got to not listen to those who want him to come out and release a bucket full of policies. Not the time for it. Just go quietly, but keep going.
Keep going. I like that that advice. And finally, what was your reaction to the Tanya Plibersek-Craig Kelly encounter yesterday? It
was quite extraordinary, but I think Plibersek came out so far in front. I mean, I'm a bit of a mate of Craig's, and I try to help him, but sometimes you can't help those who will refuse to help themselves.
Richo, appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.